Good morning, YouTube, or good afternoon. I should say good afternoon. Good afternoon, YouTube. Depending on where you are, because sometimes I see people come on live and it's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, that's so insane. I don't know what their time zone is, but I also noticed that people log into my live from like the UK and Scotland and Ireland and different random places. So I guess people are on different time zones. So, you know, it is what it is. I just want to go over something really quickly before I start. I feel like I'm giving advice for certain things, right? Like when I give advice for saging your environment, and I feel like when either you're new to spirituality or you're not really spiritual, that is not really gonna like resonate with you in the way that it should. And what I mean by that is like, if you could actually like see energy around you, dark energy, if you could see it, you would understand why it's important to sage. If you could feel what's happening around you energetically, you would understand that. But because you can't, it's like an invisible thing to you, so you don't get it. And then I think also people don't get that there is an accumulation of energy as well. That's the real problem. The problem is that all of this negative energy, it's accumulated around you and it's trapped. And the thing about bad energy is you have to get rid of it really quickly, because otherwise it sits with you, it festers. And there's a really big issue with the longer things sit in your environment, the longer things sit with you. So if someone sends you evil eye or is wishing bad on you, and you don't pray that off, you don't clean that off, and it sits there a day, a week, a month, a year, God forbid, it just keeps getting worse. It's not that it like it did its job and it goes away. The issue keeps getting worse. And if something, say you were supposed to something was supposed to naturally happen to you, say you were supposed to naturally get a cold, the cold you get when somebody wishes bad on you is like, it's like a cold where you're like, damn, this cold has an aggression on it. It's like you can feel, I'm not saying for, I'm not going to say for people they can feel the malice on it. I can feel the malice on it, but you can literally feel this energy like, this is not a normal cold. This is a very aggressive strain. Like, what is this? And the longer it stays on you, the more difficult to clean off. Prevention is better than cure. The longer something like that stays on you, the more difficult it is to clean. So there are TIs who have never heard of sage and who've never cleaned up their space, not even once, and have been sitting in gang stalking for year, 2, 3 years. That's gonna take like a professional to clean that, to clean that. Or that's gonna take, if you're doing it yourself and researching and learning how to do it, it's gonna take like a couple times. It's gonna take a couple weeks, a couple months, definitely a couple months to clean yourself off from this type of negativity that you've had to experience. I'm not just talking about emotionally, I'm like literally talking about your literal environment and also your literal body. When this kind of work has been done to you and you've been living in these kind of conditions and you have been conditioned in this way mentally, you've been conditioned for people not liking you, you've been conditioned for to think that everything you're trying to do good in life is not going to go good. You've been conditioned to almost dislike yourself. You've been conditioned for so many negative behaviors. You've been conditioned not to try. I was watching someone's video yesterday and they said, it almost makes you feel like, what's the point of getting this money if you're not going to be happy? And bingo, that's where they want you. They want you in a place where you're like, what is even the point of trying? What is even the point of getting money, of doing well in life when people are going to harass me where I'm not going to be happy? Happiness is an inside job. See, it doesn't take the money to be happy. You got to learn to be happy now in this chaotic environment. You got to learn to be happy. You have to learn how to take the first steps towards your own personal happiness. Because that's where these people want to get you. They want to get you to a point where you're like, well, what's even the point? What's the point of me trying? What's the point of me even going to get a job when they're just going to harass me? What's the point of me even trying to do this when they're just going to take it away? I want to tell you something. Let me tell you the point of trying and failing consistently and making failure a habit. Everything you do, the first generation is horrific. The first generation is laughable. The first generation is embarrassing. You want to delete the first generation because that's how embarrassing it is. And when you're done the first generation, it just shows you, you look at it and you turn it upside down and it shows you where you need to improve. So you need better this, you need better that, you need better materials, you need better, etc., etc., etc. And you keep going from there. And once you do the first batch of improvements, it gets better, but it's not there yet. And it could take 10 years to get there. So you can't even bother wasting your time thinking about where am I going to get with this? You're going to really start seeing signs of improvement after a number of sustained failures. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. You got to just keep going. With everything that you're doing, you got to keep going. You have to fail your way into the ideal prototype. You have to fail your way there. And if you're feeling bad, you got to think about companies like Apple, the iPhone. You got to think about computers. You got to think about technology in general, where it started. And you have to never throw away your first prototype, because how are you going to see how far you came from? You must never be embarrassed of your failures. You must keep them. A lot of companies, a lot of businesses, they keep their first prototypes and they put it in a museum to show people this is who we were in the 1800s. This is what we looked like. This is how far we came. And look at where we are today. So you never should be ashamed of your failures. It's not a failure. It's model 1. It's Gen 1. So what do you mean? And so the first time that you try to be happy, and the first time you try to, the first time you try to be happier, not take things as seriously, you're going to get double the attack. And the attacks are going to, you have to anticipate that the attacks are going to increase as you do the thing that people desperately do not want you to do. It's going to get worse and worse. You're going to grumble every single time there's some sort of failure. But this is not a real failure. This is not just a failure because you can't do it. This is a failure because on top of you learning how to do it, you're being attacked strategically. Somebody is watching everything you do to look for the good in it, and that's what they're going to attack. So you have to know that this is how things are going to go. You have to be prepared for it, and you have to find ways of closing doors to access the things that you're growing. So that's step number 1. I just wanted to put that out there. What I'm burning right now is sage. This is sage. This is what sage looks like. It's a plant. I don't know what it smells like. I couldn't tell you what it smells like, but it is intoxicating. It's very relaxing. Even to me, when I smell it, it puts me at ease. And it puts your entire environment at ease. It's like infusing peace into the air. That's how sage is. Sage burns off and gets rid of energies that are destructive to you. So you need, as part of your spiritual hygiene, whether you're under spiritual attack or not, you need always to sage. I talk about spiritual hygiene. Maybe I might need to just make one fundamental video because I have a bunch of them. Spiritual hygiene is like any other kind of hygiene. I know there are a lot of studies recently that are talking about like baths are just performative and they don't need to be done. I'm not going to give my opinion on that, so Google or YouTube doesn't tell me I'm giving medical advice, but use your common sense, okay? There's particles of dust everywhere at the very minimum. So you are constantly, even if it's you that's projecting your negativity into your own environment, even if it's you who's doing it, your negative thoughts, your mind racing, you not at peace, whatever it is, there's negativity in the air, and you have to start thinking about energy as something that's real. You have to start thinking about energy as something that, though you can't see it, you have to consider energy like this smoke. Like, I can put my hands through it, but it's definitely there and it's having some sort of impact. And even after it's done burning, you can still smell it. The effects of it are still there. That's how you have to look at energy. So when they're projecting you energy, it's like that. It's there. It's there. So you have to do something about it. You've been living in an environment of anxiety. You've been living in an environment of chaos, of betrayal, an environment of grief, and only bad things grow in these environments. These environments are only attracting things on their vibrational level. So it's not attracting light, love, and peace. Therefore, you need to clean it out. And if you've been living it for a long time and you haven't done anything about it, then you need a deeper cleaning than normal. And people who, if you want to begin a spiritual practice, have an altar, a personal altar, or you want to pray, imagine you on your knees by your bed praying in an environment where negative energy is swirling all around you. It's blockages, it's blocking you. Imagine you trying to manifest in an environment where there's negative energy bouncing off of the walls all over everything. It's putting blockages in your way. So you need to clean the environment in a physical way. So you need to get your sage. And you need to sage a minimum of twice a day if you're being gang stalked. You need to, let me explain to you how TIs need to sage. TIs need to sage before bed. You really need to do a good saging around prayer and meditation time, because that's something nobody wants you to do, because that's saving you. Prayer and meditation are saving you. So it's the first times that you need to sage before bed. And it'll help you go to sleep because you're enveloping yourself in peace. There's the prayer, there's the meditation, you're resetting yourself, you're talking to God, and you're cleaning the environment. You need to crack a door or a window or whatever. And I mean, you're saging your entire home, your entire space. If your home is very large and it's going to take a while to do all of that, then at least close your bedroom door, open up a window, and do your entire bedroom. And for your kids as well, and keep the pets in whatever place you're saging, keep the pets in there as well as you sage, because the pets need it as well. So you're going to go ahead and clean your entire environment. You're going to pray and you're going to meditate. When you're done all of that, then you're going to get to the stage of, it's going to dissipate at night. Now, two things. First, you sage the entire place, you open a window, you close it, you're going to sage again and just keep a little bit of smoke in the environment. This is going to take longer to dissipate. It will eventually dissipate because your house is ventilated, hopefully, and it will eventually dissipate. When you get through that, you get through the night, there's going to be a portion of the night where you're not going to have much sage with you. That's when they're probably going to launch attacks and do that sort of thing. Hopefully you're sleeping with crystals. Hopefully, you have other forms of protection in your home. Please do your own research. People do not need to give you everything. So your home itself should be protected as well. When you're done all of that, you wake up in the morning, you might want to sage again because they've probably done things overnight. They could be projecting emotions at you, negative emotions. They could be projecting all kinds of things into your space for you to have a bad day tomorrow, especially if you know that tomorrow is a day where something important needs to happen. Tomorrow's the day that you're supposed to get something. Tomorrow's the day you're supposed to do something. That's the day that you definitely want to sage. You definitely want to clean the entire space in the morning, but you need to do this as a routine. So before you get your prayers done, before you get your meditation, all of that, as soon as you open your eyes, you want to just get it done, get it cleaned up, get it out of the way. Even if you don't go and do the entire house, at least just in your room, you go ahead and you light something and just let it permeate the air and push out that negativity, calm you down, so you start with a beautiful day. You start with a calm day. This is important. This is just hygienically. But when you're a TI, you're going to feel every time you have anxiety, sage. Every time you feel depression, sage. Every time you start having bad thoughts, sage. Sage, sage, sage. Sage is your friend for a while. And there's going to be an effect to that. So the effect is, as people are projecting this negative energy into your space, they are sending you their energy. Let me tell you, it takes a lot of focus to sit in the state that is required to send you this energy. It takes some discipline to do so. And some things are easier than others. Some things it's like somebody's just gonna masturbate and send you energy. But other things, it's like it takes a little bit more focus to do some of these things, especially like tracking people's energy and things like that. So these people are going to continue sending this energy, and it's going to deplete them after a while, because you have to understand that projecting energy is projecting your life force. That's what you're sending out. They're sending you their literal life force. And after doing that for a while, they're going to be depleted of it. Because you don't yet know how to really use energy, you got to just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. The intentions that have been sent to you are going to have no choice but to return back to wherever they came from. And that's just how it works. That's just how simple it is. It can't stay, so it has to go back. Let me explain it to you in a very real sense. Energy exchange, swapping energy. I don't like you at all. I'm going to wait to see you do something, and then I'm going to criticize it. And then if you're unfocused, instead of you continuing to focus on the task, you start analyzing what you're doing, trying to turn it over, up and around, and flip it around and say, well, wait, is what I'm doing bad? Did I really do a bad job? Could I do better? And you start going over in your head. And so what's happened is the energy that I've sent you, that negative energy, you've lost your focus. And so now, instead of you focusing on what you're supposed to be focusing, you're confused, you're lost, you're feeling dejected, you're feeling low. And I'm feeling your happiness and your sense of accomplishment. You were supposed to feel a sense of accomplishment from accomplishing what you did, but now I'm feeling a sense of accomplishment because you don't have it anymore. I have it. I accomplished taking you off of your task, and now you're feeling what I was feeling. That's an energy swap in a very, very simple way. But what happens if you send me that energy and I don't even look at what you're talking about? I barely read it. I block it immediately without it affecting me, and I move on with my day. You're going to stand there feeling stupid. You're going to feel dejected. And then you're going to be like, it almost comes back double, because had you not done anything, you would have felt that anyway and had an opportunity to climb over it. But now it's like it comes back amplified because you did all of that and nobody cared. Now you're embarrassed. So now you've dropped further down the vibrational, emotional vibrational scale, down to guilt and then shame. So you've just dropped And so now you're really feeling low because it's like you really tried to kick someone down and it had absolutely no effect on them. That's how it kind of works energetically. That's as simple as it is. That's like the basic 1, 2, 3 of returning energy. So when you sage your environment, when you get rid of people's energy, when you take it out of your environment, it has to go back to where it was projected from. But it's not something that someone really wants to accept. No one wants to accept that back. If someone's been working for days to really piss you off and it never touches you and you're never upset, and it never really has an effect that they intend, they're going to be even more enraged. Their vibration sinks lower as there is no effect on you. It is important as a TI to understand energy manipulation and how it works. What energy, and then you're going to get to a point where you start thinking, if I'm going to be fighting someone spiritually, well, what do I want to do with energy as it comes? And it always comes down to strategy. Would it help me to return this, or do I kind of need some energy today anyway? If I'm about to do something, because energy is neither good or bad, it can be, as long as you learn how to transmute it, as long as you learn how to change it into what you need it for, it's to your benefit. So if you're doing something and you needed a bit of energy anyway, and you have a whole coven of people sending you energy, well, you might want to think, well, if I can transmute this, I might not want to send this back. I might need this energy today. And depending on how gifted the coven is or how gifted the people sending you the energy is, maybe some of them might feel themselves being depleted and drained. It starts getting sucked out of them because you like it. You like getting their energy. So it pumps you up. Let me explain what I mean by that. So say every time I come on live, people project negative energy at me. And in the beginning, it bothers me, it pisses me off. But then I learn alchemy and I kind of like it. I like when they pay attention to me. I like when they project this to me. I find it funny. I find it laughable. And it adds more interest to the live. It adds more charisma because it's like, I know what I'm saying is going to piss somebody off. And I find it funny, quite frankly. And so it's like I say things in a particular way and I do things in a particular way, and the people watching thinks they don't see what's happening internally or energetically, and they find the live to be captivating. They find the live to be entertaining. They like the way that the message is coming. And so that energy that's been sent to me, I've just sucked it in and I've used it to catapult myself even better. Because had I not had opposition, perhaps I wouldn't really have as much energy. Perhaps I would feel a little bit drained, a little bit disinterested, and it wouldn't be as interesting. You gotta learn what to do with energy and stop thinking about magic like hocus pocus, and it's not like that. I mean, it can be, but you gotta really start thinking about it. Like, how does it manifest itself in reality? And that will help you understand what's going on. So I say to you, until you learn what to do with the energy being projected at you, you gotta get rid of it, because it's too much and it's gonna bombard you and it's gonna burden you, and it's gonna take some time for you to realize what you're supposed to do with these kind of projections. I want to talk about the things that you need to address and how. So I have a little list here of things that TIs need to be taking into consideration as you move through your gang stalking journey. So, first things first, insecurities. You need to address your insecurities immediately. You think you're just being gang stalked. Gang stalking is just the thing that they let you see, and gang stalking, like I said, it goes ahead and it enhances, It sets the stage for the other things that are occurring, the things that are more important. Actually following you around and making you feel observed and making you feel like people know your every move and whatever. This is for the purpose of a lot of things, but it's setting the stage. I want you guys to notice one thing. Anybody who is watching this maybe from the beginning. When I first started the live of two cats, they were bouncing all over the place and running all over and like knocking things down. After the sage, they're just sitting calmly and they're relaxed and you're not hearing them anymore. That's how sage works. If you're in a coupling or if you're in a relationship and you find yourself fighting, before every fight, you need to sage so that you can really get down to the heart of what's going on here. After the sage, you might find that there isn't any issue at all. Like you don't even care. You might just say, never mind. You gotta sage. Before you do work, you gotta sage. If something goes wrong with an appliance, you gotta sage. You gotta sage everything. You're like an appliance, that's not a human being. But why do you think energy can't hit an appliance? Why do you think energy cannot hit your work? It's energy. If somebody cannot astral project themselves into your space, they're going to send energy. So you got to clear the energy first to create an atmosphere of peace. And from there, you can launch yourself into whatever it is that you want to do. So please, saging is a habit that happens every day. Open up a window, let fresh air in, let the negative energy out. And that's how you begin your day. Start your day with clear energy. And you need more sage than normal people. I spend hundreds of dollars a month on sage. I'm being very serious. I might as well, I want to grow it at this point. I need a farm. I spend a lot on sage because it's needed. You can't, there's times you need it. So let me talk about insecurities. I talked about the emotional scale. And the lowest vibration is shame. And so people use your insecurities to embarrass you, to make you experience shame, to get you in a very low vibration. So you need to deal with insecurities as quickly as possible. Insecurities are literally just unaccepted facts. Things that are probably true, that's why you feel the shame, but you haven't accepted it yet. So an insecurity can be something like myself. They've told me that I have a big nose, and I do. It's a fact. It's just something that you need to accept. It's not necessarily something you need to like or dislike. You don't have to want to change it. It could just be what it is, but it's a fact. As soon as you accept that fact, you get to move forward from it. So when people talk about it, you cannot have a reaction to it. Why do you not need a reaction? Because someone's going to manipulate you by talking about it. Somebody's going to wait until you're on your biggest stage, on your best platform, and then they're going to talk about your nose in front of everyone. And they're going to wait to see the shame on your face, the frustration, the anger, the tears. And so that is going to take away from this huge accomplishment and what you're talking about and the value that you bring because you're embarrassed of something that is a fact. Everybody in my family has this nose, not everybody, but my ancestors. So this is a marker of our bloodline. It's very important. And it's something that I'm proud of. Do I make enough money to get a nose job? Sure, but I'm not going to get rid of it. It's like, it's right there for a reason. And it is what it is. Like, I'm a part of something. So you have to find your way of getting to that place. So there are people who are fat. There are people who, there's just something about them. Everybody has something where somebody is going to talk about it. They are trained to look for in you things that you probably haven't accepted. How many people have truly accepted that they're fat? So few that it's an anomaly. The people who've accepted that they're fat are going to talk about the fact that they're fat. Now, there's a difference with people that are overly talking about it because they want to like cover it up. And then there are people that you can tell from the way they walk in, they are very active, they move around, they dress a certain way. They are not looking to lose weight, they're looking to feel their best in the way that they dress it up, they feel good about it. Maybe they might want to change it, maybe they might want to lose weight, who cares? But they're at a point where they accept it. Even if they feel like they should change it at some point, they accept it. You got to come to a place of being accepting of your flaws and fast, because people are going to use it to manipulate you and manipulate your vibration. So spiritually, you're out here like a rag doll where people can do whatever they want with you. They just have to sit there and be like, watch, watch. Oh, she's happy. Watch what I'm going to do. And they come with some of this garbage and they throw you off. That is how easy it is for you to find yourself in situations where you go from high vibing to low vibing. And like I said, shame is the lowest vibration. Give me a second here. Yeah. So where was I? Address insecurities early. Address insecurities early and immediately. And literally, I mean, male, female, whatever it is, if you have a past and people keep bringing it up, they keep bringing it up for a reason. People have tried to find things to bring up about me, that I was a young mom and stuff like that. These kind of things are, don't apologize for deleting it. He was saying something stupid. Anyway, they've tried to bring up, oh, you were a young mom, you were this, you were that. It's like they knew they were grasping at straws when they did that to begin with. You know, sometimes they know that if you've lived a certain type of life, they know that there isn't much there. There isn't much to work with. They're just going to say things to say things. Like, they're going to try to detract from it. They're going to try to talk about, like, the size of your home. This was something that I personally, it's like you can see how long they've been manipulating certain people. Like, you'll see two hardworking people sleeping in their parents' basement, and what they're working on is something that, you know, if you had to combine all of it as assets, it's worth like a couple million. And they'll let somebody tell them, oh, you're sleeping on the floor in your parents' basement. How could you do that? All of you guys are packed in on the floor in the basement. Yeah. So that we could sit in something that's worth a couple million. You gotta be real fucking dumb, excuse my language, to let people get into your mind to tell you that you're sleeping on a basement floor when you're shoveling hundreds and thousands and writing big checks for something worth millions. Address your need to be accepted. Address it immediately. They're making an ass of you. And then they're over there laughing at that. So now, instead of saving the money by sleeping on your parents' floor, the launch pad of success is your parents' basement. Now you ran off to go pay $2,500 a month to please somebody so they can say you're a real fucking idiot now. You gotta use, turn this shit on. Turn it on. Turn it on, please. Independence of thought is important. Pulling away from the pack is important. Self-reflection is important. Don't let people who don't have anything to look forward to manipulate you with your insecurities and let you self-sabotage. Your parents' basement, sleeping on the floor, sacrificing, spending less, cutting expenses. It's the launch pad of success. It allows more resources to be reinvested where it really counts. The next time you have to go sleep on a floor, stop letting people tell you about your sleeping on a floor. Turn it on. Turn your mind on, okay? You gotta admit to yourself sometimes that you self-sabotage and that you do stupid things. All of us have to. Listen, if I talk to people like this online, I talk to myself the same way. I talk to my kids the same way. You gotta turn it on. Turn your brain on. Everything you're doing for a logical reason must be done. You combine resources. You scale back. You take a step down. And you conserve so you could stand on your feet longer. This is a real life example, by the way. You gotta use your head. Somebody is telling you that you look fat, right? Like with me, I'm very curvy. And so somebody will try to project that energy like, oh, you need to lose weight. No, I don't need to do that at all. I don't. I'm very physically fit. Like, I'm very physically endurant. I don't need to do that. I can do that if I want to. Sure. But do I have to? No. They're bringing it up because it's an issue. They're bringing it up because it's an issue. I saw something, some reading, because I won't look at the readings, I'll put it in the title. It'll be like the items that you're showing or the lifestyle that you're showing is gonna cause rumors, is gonna project rumors about you. I'm knee deep in slander. You mean new rumors or the same rumors? You mean how did I get all the Benzes? No. What it's actually gonna do is it's gonna show that somebody didn't do their job. It's gonna show that someone didn't do what they were supposed to do. It's going to show me in a positive light. It's gonna show who I actually am. That's what the issue actually is. So when we're looking at something and something looks good, it looks affluent, it looks abundant, it looks attractive, what can we say to project an insecurity that's not even there? What can we do to create a wound that's not even there that is going to meet our agenda? We're going to make an insecurity about someone saying you're a drug dealer so you don't show off the fruits of your hard labor and show yourself to be exactly who you are. So now I know that I must step into my power even more. So now, instead of the insecurity hitting me, I've kept the energy and I've said, oh, that's gonna cause an issue. Well, that is the thing that I should do more. Thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it. And then I move forward. If I sound very intelligent, then I'm gonna get some feedback from an enemy that, well, you sound so intelligent and you don't have a degree. Oh, you never got a degree. Now, how do we address that from a place of logic? The person barking also doesn't have a degree. This person cannot communicate at this level. These people might need a dictionary when you speak. And actually, it's even worse that you don't have a degree and you sound more intelligent than people that have degrees. You don't have to send that back. How are you going to send that back? By addressing it and engaging in it, and then it's going to work. You simply accept that and you embrace the fact that you sound like you have a PhD. You sound like you have a doctorate. So now you want to embrace that part of yourself and do it more. Your insecurities, the thing that somebody is preying on, this is the way you assess it. You sit down and you say, why does it bother someone that I don't have a degree? Let me walk through their thought process. What about it that bothers them so much? If I'm fat and everywhere I go, people can see that I'm fat, that I'm overweight, and nobody says anything about it because it really is low-hanging fruit, why are they saying it? Oh, possibly because I wear this fatness very well. The fatness doesn't seem to bother me. I seem to be fat and confident, and they want to break that. Or I seem to be too confident in general, and they want to cause an issue with that. You have to be more confident in your fatness. You have to almost say, I know I'm fat, and for a fat person, I do really well at, climbing the Stairmaster for 2 hours. I'm proud of myself. And just got to move on from it. That's it. And sometimes it's not even worth the attention that you're giving to it. It's not even worth the 3 minutes that it will even take to do all of that. But internally, you need to process it if it's bothered you at all. Because if the insecurity bothers you, it turns into a trigger, which is my next point. Triggers are exactly that. It is a button that someone can push to get you to react in a negative way. And usually that way is to self-sabotage. Usually that way is to do something that pulls you back into a dark place. It pushes you to do something that is out of your normal character. When people use triggers in strategy, they say one thing about you, and then they use the trigger to prove that thing to be correct. So they'll say, this is a very arrogant person. And then they'll think about, they really discuss this in groups. They'll think about, well, which thing is it more likely for us to do or say that's going to trigger this person into an arrogant response? And then they'll do that, and then you come off as arrogant. They'll say you're a very angry person, and they'll do something to anger you, and they'll keep pushing that button as long as it takes for you to explode. And now they get to say, look, I told you this person was an angry person, even though you've been a very patient person for very long. So you have to address the insecurities that proliferate into triggers. Triggers can be things like bad memories, things that have happened to you that have been completely unfair. So you have a bad memory of something and somebody keeps tapping on that, and it could be anything. It's not about if it's good or bad, valid or invalid. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a memory. It's just a thing that's happened. Excuse me. You have to deal with your bad memories. You have to make peace with things that have happened to you. It doesn't have, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not a reflection of you. I hope people know that. If something happened to you, it's not a reflection of you. It doesn't, it's like the best example I can think about it now is like a lot of times things that happen to us, we wear it as shame. But it happened to you. It's not your shame. So say, for example, you're married to someone and they go out and they have a child outside of the marriage, and that child is a living reminder of what they did. That is not your shame, and you shouldn't carry it as your shame. You're a victim of something that's happened, and that's how you have to address it. You have to just make peace with it. There are a lot of things in this life. You're going to live 100 years, hopefully. You're going to have to consistently make peace with a lot of things. Things that you don't necessarily have control over. You literally need to start this now. If you have not been emotionally grooming yourself, You need to start doing it now, because once you're a TI, they're going to make you a victim of things that you've already been a victim of. So they're going to re-victimize you. Whatever has happened to you, they're going to keep talking about it. And you need to understand that these people have no bottom. They have no bottom. They're going to go to the ninth circle of hell. They have no bottom. There's no ground level for them to say, oh, well, this is too touchy. This is too personal. We're not going to go there. It doesn't matter. They're going to talk about it. So you have to make peace with it. You have to make peace with it, or they're going to trigger you and have you very distracted from the things that are going to benefit you the most in life. The things that you have to be working on. You have to take care of your triggers right away. If you walk with a limp, it is what it is. It is what it is. And you know what? In some cultures, like being Black, it helps because whatever your insecurity is, that's what they call you. If you walk with a limp, they're going to call you limpy or stubby foot or something. So you have no choice but to accept that right away. They're going to beat it out of you. If you're a girl and you're fat, they're going to call you fatty. Like, that's your nickname. And even if they don't know what your name is, they're going to be like the fat one in front of you. That's how it is. You gain weight and you go see your parents. They're like, why are you so fat? Where's all this weight from? First thing out of their mouth when you walk in. And you're going to be like, oh, it hurt my feelings. They don't understand that. That does not even compute. Like, they didn't even connect it. Like, they don't understand things like depression and stuff like that. They laugh at stuff like that. They're like, what's wrong with this one? So you have to, if you're not from that kind of culture, you got to work with it ASAP. You got to like figure it out, and you got to be able to show your face again. You're not going to run and hide because somebody has found out something that, you know, that they feel is going to embarrass you, and they're telling everybody. You got to just walk around with it. Like, okay, it happened. It is what it is. And that's it. Who cares? Moving on. That has to be your attitude. Like, people literally have to say something to you in public and you have to be like, so? Shut up and walk away. That's it. Like, it's not, you can't make a drama of it. It can't be theatrics. It can't be this whole thing. Your day's ruined. You don't feel like going to eat anymore. You don't feel like going shopping anymore. They obviously did it for a reason, and they timed this. They could have said it yesterday. They could have said it last night. They could have done it before you left the house. They're doing it now for a reason. So what? You were a teen mom. I was. That's a fact. I would do it all over again, and nobody would stop me. Nobody can stop me. I like it. That's it. Done. I love my kids. I could never imagine doing it any other way. It's perfect. And I really mean that. I'm not just saying that. I really mean that. I enjoy my children. I enjoy being a mother, and thank God I have them. It's an amazing, amazing company, amazing help. They're extremely talented in many ways. How can somebody talk to me about when I had my kids? They're not the one feeding them. That's just how you have to address everything, everything. And as triggers come up, and we all have them, you got to continue grooming them. You got to continue addressing it. You got to continue thinking about the new things that are embarrassing to you. So when you put out your new work, when you come out with your new idea, your new project, generation one, the first model, is going to trigger you because you put passion in it. You put thought into it. You put care into it, and it looks like crap compared to what everybody else is doing anyway. You might be proud of it, but it's falling apart. So you have to use that energy that people are sending to you, and you got to fix this thing. You got to say, okay, well, you know, the eyes are falling off this little doll that I made. Like, what can I do? Okay, instead of gluing it, let me sew it. This part is breaking apart. Maybe I need a better fabric. And you take your time and you fix it. That energy being projected to you is supposed to be used to motivate you to improve it. These are your number one fans. Your critics are telling you what to fix. Oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. Okay, well, maybe I could do better. Oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. Well, you know what? Maybe I like it. I think that one works. You take that information, you ask yourself, are they saying that because it's a great thing, or are they saying that because actually it's true and I could do better? So you got to figure out ways of how do you do things. And then you got to make your process better. And then you also have to figure out ways of making sure that they don't interrupt your process, that they don't stop it because they see something that's growing here. They see how this is going to go before you do. It's their job. So you are no longer you're no longer always feeling like you're building under pressure. You're incorporating what could have been interpreted as an injustice, what could have been interpreted as persecution. You're incorporating that in your growth process. And now you have a panel. You have a panel of people that are going to develop your product. You know they pay people to do this at companies. They have to take the packages and mail it to influencers who are going to critique it. And you have a free panel of people that are going to tell you, oh, but look at that. Oh, but this. Oh, but that. Oh, but this. And you're just writing the notes. Okay, 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 okay. All right, back into the lab we go. We got to fix it, repackage it. We got to start back from scratch. We got to relaunch and put it back out there. And your critics are hungry and they're waiting to see the next thing you do. They can't wait to bash it. And do you know where you want to get to? You got to get this product to where when you put it out, it makes somebody panic. And they type the most egregious, hateful, malice-filled comments under it. And that's when you know you have something amazing. Or they ignore it completely. They can't take it. They can't watch it. This disgusts them. That's when you know the product is where it's supposed to be. They either have nothing to say, or you start losing followers and losing friends and losing people that you thought were supporters. Makes them sick. This is beyond reproach. This has been fully developed. It's never fully developed, but at the stage that you're at, when you put out, as a woman, we know when you put a reel or a video or take a picture and your biggest hater comes under there and starts slandering you, you're like, ooh, I looked good. I looked amazing. You gotta rewatch it. Like, I see no flaws here at all. This is beautiful. This is perfect. I might want to repost this, as a matter of fact. I gotta favorite this in my phone. This is where you want to get to with your energy. What once felt like persecution, you need to incorporate it in your process. Is it going to take time? Yes. It's going to take a long time. That's why gang stalking is so persistent, to keep you here. To keep you here until you get to that place, because it is not going to change. And as soon as you realize, well, if it's not going to change, then I must change, it forces your growth. It forces you to level up. You are being built, you're being built by your opposition. And all these stones that they throw at you, you're collecting these stones. There are people that have to go and get a wheelbarrow and go find stones to collect, to mix in, to make the cement, to build their house. And people are throwing you stones. Thank you for eliminating that labor, because it literally is just me building this. I would have to leave and go find these. But now I get this for free. This has been orchestrated on your behalf. You really have to look at the cup half full at all times. You must build from this place. And if you think about it like it's going to be a burden, like it's going to be trying, of course it's going to feel trying. You've added more weight to your shoulders by thinking that way. So address the triggers that come up. If you have neighbors that are stalking you, I want you to know that they've stalked these neighbors too. You really think I'm living next to someone and I have a pot on the stove, or I was about to go outside, that I really want to go outside every time someone's in the backyard, that I really want to be in my front yard every time they're in the front yard. I took a little bit of money and now this thing is burdening me. Now every minute these people are harassing me. Every minute they're calling me. What's this person doing? Where did they go? Did they cut? Could you go check their garbage? 6 o'clock in the morning before the garbage truck comes, they want me to go and search this person's garbage, and they want me to go lift the tampons and the bloody pads. This is disgusting. Yeah, but you took the money. So now you're part of the gang. You got to do it. This is how it works. When you're sitting here thinking, my dirty neighbors are stalking me, your dirty neighbors do not have a choice. They have to do it. They're the ones that live closest to you. So they have the unfortunate burden. I don't think all neighbors are stalked to do it. I think some people are happy to do it. I think some people already didn't like you. Some people are getting a kick out of it. But I think the ones who are decent, they have to be stalked to do it. None of these scenarios are favorable. So you just have to let that be what that is. You're telling me you're not going to enjoy the backyard because there's neighbors out there? Faking. How long can somebody fake do something just because you're out there for an hour or two? And also, it's their backyard. They could be out there. You got to overlook all of this stuff. This stuff in particular is meaningless and it's a waste of your time. This is meaningless garbage. Let it be whatever it is and just move forward. People drop comments that are nasty and stuff, like it and move on. A comment is engagement. A comment is attention. Move on. You're in public and people are saying nasty things. What are you gonna do? It's not all the time you can address people. Like sometimes you might feel like addressing something. Sometimes you kind of expect it. Sometimes you're having a zen day and you don't have enough energy for it. Whichever side you fall on, oh well, that's the best that I could tell you. Oh well, you just gotta brush it off. Move on. It is what it is. You gotta learn to deal with disruptions because, listen, this is the thing about the disruptions, the triggers, the insecurities. If you look at gang stalking as something you need to graduate out of, you're not graduating out until you master all of these things. Because the place you're going to get to where you have to build this foundation, they're going to keep sending these bricks. Either you're going to learn how to catch bricks, dodge bricks, take bricks, build with bricks. The bricks are energy. They're going to keep sending them. So they're going to keep sending them. So if you're putting something up, you got to just be dodging while you're plastering. You got to be putting up barriers because what you're building is too fragile. You don't want to see bricks on it. You got to not sleep some nights because you got to wait up all night to make sure that bricks are not coming at this. There's going to be a lot going on. What you're building is valuable and they don't want you to rebuild. So you're not going to get to the place of rebuilding until you learn all of these things by force or by fire. That's why I say the environment's not going to change. You need to change. You think that God's going to come and rescue you? I'm going to get into that, but they're not going to come rescue you. It's being orchestrated by God. This thing that you're in, you think God's not close enough to see what's going on? God's orchestrating all of this. If these people stop sending bricks, they're going to trigger them in some way, shape, or form to keep sending these bricks because this is about your growth and development. This is about you taking this ugly prototype and fixing it. It's ugly. God's not going to just tell you that it's ugly, it's garbage, you're not putting it out. They're going to make them attack you. Go redo it and don't embarrass yourself and do that. That's how it works. What's actually happening here behind the scenes. So this environment of gang stalking is not going to change. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to kill the old parts of yourself that you don't need. This self-victimization, this woe is me, this crying all the time, we got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of it. And I know it hurts, and that's part of growth. You fell, you scraped your knee, and you got to get back up on the bike. But I don't want to, but I'm scared. I know, but you got to get back on the bike. And you got to do the same thing over and over and over until you're okay with falling, because falling off a bike is a reality. Until your will is so strong that you habitually fall off all the time. You don't even cry anymore. You just get back on and you push it back up the hill, and you get back. You get into the hang of it. So once you're over falling, you can do things like controlling your balance. You can know when to brake. You can know, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? When is it out of control? Until you master the bike. If somebody rescues you the first time that you fall, or if somebody rescues you before you fall, you will never ride a bike. And the purpose here of getting on the bike is to be able to master the bike. So you're not getting out of gang stalking until you master yourself, and then you're going to master your process. And once you master yourself, everything else is just, it's a joke. Everything else is, how does myself interact with the world? How do I go out there and I interact with people? How do I take control of my environment in every way? That's what I mean when I say that you're developing yourself into some sort of grandmaster. You need to master the entire game. So once you get into gang stalking, the first thing that happens is you see the game for what it is. Oh, it's a matrix. Oh, it's not real. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Now that you know that, let's go to phase 2. How are you gonna live here? Because nobody's, I keep saying this. They want to punish you. They don't want to make you not alive. They want to punish you. So you're gonna have to live here. Have you just sat there and come to terms with being 6 years a TI? No, no, no. You must rethink that. Rethink your position here. Rethink how you're just existing in this space. Where is the growth? What is changing? So, people following you around, it's like the same old. This serves no purpose, really. I've been thinking about it, and I can't see what the point of this is, but just to distract you, make you feel uncomfortable, and make you feel like you're some sort of victim. People are spending money to follow you around, and it's to your benefit that they spend the money. It is what it is. Just call it a day. Just call it a day. I wish I had a better answer for it. I still don't see the point of doing it. It's just like it's intimidation. And, in my case, it's not like they're enthusiastic about it. It's not doing anything. It only works when you have a ton of spell work and you're paranoid and you're anxious and all of that. Otherwise, people following you around is just like, it's background noise. It's to be expected. It is what it is. By the way, we're headed into summer. Please don't tell me you're going to let these people take another summer from you. You better go around. You better go outside. You better go exploring. You better get out in nature. You better do things. Oh, but I'm by myself. Yeah, when you get out there, there's going to be people outside. You make conversations with them. Oh, but some of them are gang stalkers. Not all of them. If you go to like a national park, a theme park, something, you think everybody there is a gang stalker? Some of them are gang stalkers. You identify that one's a gang stalker. Okay, don't talk to that one. Talk to the other one. Live your life. Live your life. Promise yourself that you're going to do stuff this summer. Make a list and make it nice. I want to do one patio. I want to do one outing. I want to do one of this, one of that. And you're not going to really want to, you want to do it, you want to enjoy it, but you know what's coming with it. So you're going to groom your mind, and you're going to say there's going to be gang stalkers out there. But also to remember that when they're out in public, they have to be a little bit more careful, because people are out there and people are watching. People are watching. So watch for the people. Sometimes you'll be sitting somewhere and they leave all the way to the front to come all the way to the back to sit it with you. And another one and another one, and they situate themselves and wait till they settle in. And you could do one of two things. You can have fun in their face and have a good time, or you can wait till everybody's settled and ask the waitress to sit you somewhere else completely. somewhere that's already packed with a bunch of tables, somewhere that a bunch of people already at. And when you leave and you walk away, turn back and look at their faces as they see you escape them. And you'll see on their faces the confirmation that they came here for nonsense. They'll be pissed off about it. They'll be a little bit resentful that you left. That they have to sit there with the clown face and look at each other. There's little things you could do if you want to pay attention to it. Me, I'm at the point, I don't care. I'll talk to them. I'll be triggering sometimes, I'll be nice sometimes, I'll gaslight sometimes, I'll be whatever. It depends. It depends on my mood. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. Nobody hates to be gaslit more than people who are trained to gaslight. Oh my God, they self-implode. They get so mad, they blow up. Especially when you giggle and you walk away, like when you really are tickled and it was really funny to you and you laugh and you walk away, they're damn near ready to explode. Now they go from passive aggressive to aggressive aggressive. In public, in front of other people, oh my goodness. You're an angry person, aren't you? Gang stalkers are so angry. They're angry people. Always so angry. My, lighten up. Be a nice person. Go watch your day. Like, who cares? This is your life now, so you might as well learn how to deal with it. Go outside. Lay in the sun. Close your eyes. Have a good day. People are gonna do weird stuff. Don't let people upset you. And it's gonna take practice. And summer's what, 3 months? You have 3 months to practice. Get in a pool, get in water. You need the sunlight, you need the break. You need to stop thinking about the gang stalking thing as gang stalking so long. It's gang stalking, it's gang stalking. I know, but it's gonna take over your life if you don't put a barrier between you and this nonsense all the time. All the time, all the time. They want you in this on this cycle, on this treadmill. Gang stalking, must talk about gang stalking, must think about gang stalking, must be upset, must be triggered. Who cares? Get up, sage, pray. God, I want to have a good day today. I know I'm going to deal with the gang stalking tomorrow, but today, just block them, cut them off in traffic, make them lose me. I'm going to leave my cell phone at home. It's just me in the car. I'm going to take an Uber, or I'm going to hitch a cab ride or a bus or something. I'm going to get out of there and block me today from the BS. Let me have a good day. And find yourself wandering outside. You're going to be so beside yourself when you're outside by yourself. You're going to think, I needed companionship to go outside, but you're going to be by yourself and there's going to be no gang stalkers. And I always say it's like frolicking in the wind. It's like that scene in Heidi where you're in the field of flowers, skipping around, rolling down the hill. There's no gang stalkers here today. And you're going to be talking to people for the first time and you're going to learn how to talk to people again in public. Somebody might approach you and ask you about some desserts and they're like, this all looks so good, eh? And you're like nervous at first, like, is this real? And then you're like, yeah, they do. And they're like, I think I'm going to get that one. And they get it and they leave and there's no agenda and there's no gaslighting and there's no triggering stuff and there's nothing. And you're like, oh my God, what is going on here? You're like, is this real? And that's how you slowly but surely, you embody that feeling and you're like, I got to do this again. How did I do this the first time? And the second time, you're going to be tempted to repeat the same exact way. You're teaching them how to follow you if you do it the same exact way. It must be unpredictable. You must shuffle it. It must be a weird way. Starts with the prayer, Lord, please. Not today. I'm not asking you every day. I know I didn't learn all my lessons yet. I know I can't come out. I want 5 hours. If you could just block them for 5 hours for me so I could just get a break. So I could learn what it's like to not be gang stalked. So I can know what it feels like. Because not being gang stalked is a feeling. It's a feeling. And when you learn the feeling, you can keep practicing the feeling. You can keep practicing it. That's all it is, practicing that feeling. Because right now, if you're a real TI, you can't really envision what that feeling is. Like, you're like, I'm hearing this girl, but man, they're bothering me all the time. First of all, if you have energy stuff that's bothering you, go to my page, go to the playlist, go to the channels, and go look for all the things that you need to block out energetically, because that has to be cleared out first. If they're in your energy, you got to kick them out. You got to do everything I say. None of it is a suggestion. All of it is important. Just got to block it out. Do you see how much crystals I'm wearing? You got to block it out. You got to first deal with kicking them out of your energy. And then you got to get to the point where you're like, I know the feeling of not being gang stalked. I've experienced it before. I had a glimpse. If you have a glimpse, it means that you're close to your end. It means that now you must be rapidly trying to learn lessons. Okay, this still triggers me. Okay, this still upsets me. Okay, this still makes me mad. Okay, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. What more can I do? So you get from a point where you're not learning lessons to now you're hungry for where's the next lesson? Where's the next thing that I'm supposed to learn? But when you get that first feeling of not being gang stalked, I want you to savor it, savor it, savor it, savor it, savor it until you see that first person finally find you. They find you, they're like, yes, there she is. And it's like they run and then they're on their phone. She's over here with the big red tree, the post by the other sign. And they're trying to stabilize their breathing to make it look like they weren't just fucking tearing this whole theme park apart, or tearing this place apart, trying to find you. And they find you and you're like, yes. Who cares? So now you know for the rest of the day they're going to be following you and being weird. But you still have that high of not being gang stalked. You finally know the feeling of what it is, and you reach for that good feeling place every day. Every time you go outside, even though you get 5 seconds of it, you still got it. Haha, you still have it. And you try to extend it from 5 seconds to 10 seconds to 15 seconds to 20 seconds. And that is your primary focus every day that you're outside. How do I recreate this feeling of not being gang stalked outside? How do I recreate it? How do I get this feeling of relief? In a couple of months of that, there you go. You're going to get it. Now you're going to tell me, well, how? And you want a practical way. Once you get the first feeling, that's it. That's the magic. That's the manifestation. You've been gifted the seed. Plant it. Keep practicing that vibration of not being gang stalked. And eventually, the how will take care of itself. The universe takes care of the magic for you. You don't have to do... Do you think magicians know how anything is actually done? Who cares? We want the end result. That's it. I want this. I just need to know the vibration of it. Even if I had it and I lost it, I just needed the vibration. The vibration is the seed. You grab it and you go. I want a mansion, but I lost my mansion, but now I know what it's like to have a mansion. Now I know what it's like to have a mansion. That's all I needed. I take that vibration and I go. I'm gonna have a mansion because I already had one. But they took so much from me. I lost so much. Who cares? You were given that at a time that they knew you were gonna lose it, but now you know how to do it. You know the vibration of it. You just gotta repeat it. Sometimes the hardest vibration for you to have is the vibration of first growth. It's the seed. The seed is the hardest. You think that the big crops is hard. It's the seed. It's sitting there watching the dirt and waiting and not knowing what day it's gonna finally pop out of the ground. Let me tell you, the day that it does, you're in disbelief. You're like, yo, did it really happen? Did it really pop out of the ground? Did it really happen? You've been fawning over this thing. You've been watering it. You put it in the right place. You put things over it. You come outside and shelter it during storms. You're waiting, and that's a hard job that seed has. That seed has to break through soil. When it first pops out, that's the first sign of growth. But what do? You guys start talking about, oh, well, it's not much. Oh, well, it's nothing. Oh, well. Now you start connecting the seed to how the $1 million that you need to buy the mansion. Give it time. We are in April. It's not gonna bear fruit until September because those are the rules. That is the time for harvest. It has a long way to go. It just popped out here. You're already trying to name its children. It's a baby. Give it some time. Stop trying to connect it. Well, how am I gonna survive? And the first seed just popped out, and you're asking the seed, how are you gonna? It's a lot of pressure for a seed. It's just a baby. You're gonna figure out how you're gonna survive while this seed is growing, because this seed needs a lot of attention, and it needs love, and it needs care. It doesn't want to hear about all of your problems. And quite frankly, you do well to put these problems aside yourself and just focus on, what does the seed need? Focus on the soil. Does it need more water? Does it need to be fertilized? Does it need more sun? Does it have too much sun? What needs to happen? Because this thing is trying, it has so much work to do. It has to survive. Animals are trampling out here. There's bugs out here that are going to chew on the leaves before they even grow. There's heavy rains that are coming. The soil might be, too dry. There might be too much clay in the soil. It might not be good composition. There's a lot that it's going through, and you're already talking to it about fruit and how much fruit is going to be enough fruit to feed us. Right now, you're just learning to plant seeds, so it's okay. It is a very, 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 very early stage. It is okay to just let it be a seed. And your seed is the first 15 seconds you had outside of realizing that no one was following you. That's it. That is your gift. Here you go. No one followed you for 15 seconds. If you could turn it into 30 seconds and 60 seconds, then your seed just grew 2 more leaves. And you continue on like that. But that is your gift. That experience of being outside. And at first you're going to be in disbelief. You're going to be scared of saying, oh my God, thank God, because you're like, they're going to hear me. They're going to hear me say it. Say it. Be thankful. Thank you, God. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you blocked them for 15 seconds. Thank you. And then you're going to see a bunch of them roll up. And now, because you got 15 seconds of relief, they don't want to let you out of their sight at all. So getting that 30 seconds is going to take some work, because they're going to come at you doubly hard. And what does that mean? We're going to back down? No, we are going to cling to this seed, to this feeling so hard that we're going to get from our 15 seconds to our 30 seconds, our 30 seconds to our 60 seconds, our 60 seconds. Now we're hungry. We want an hour. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get an hour of not being gang stalked. I deserve it. I'm going to hitchhike on the side of the road if I have to. I'm going to do whatever I have to do, because I want an hour of people losing track of me. If that's what you got to do, whatever you got to do, it is worth the experience to feel normal again, because you've forgotten what the real world feels like. You've forgotten what the normal, quote unquote, world feels like. So you're going to get there. You have to address all kinds of things. Sometimes before you get that first seed, you have to be ready for it. You have to be ready to take it back. Sometimes you're going to get periods where you don't have them and periods where you have them, and it's not going to be 100%. It's not going to be every day. Some days you're going to have the entire day, and these people are going to be panicking. And they're going to say next time it never happens. And they're just going to station people sitting outside of your house round the clock just to make sure that it never happens. They don't want to be proven to have failed. So that's why it's worth it to learn how, whether or not they're there, to still enjoy. The feeling means that you can have the feeling even if they're there. That's why the feeling is important. Feeling free, even though they're still there. It's the feeling that you're reaching for, because it's like anything else. If you had the feeling of a mansion before you had a mansion, you will feel like you're in a mansion even though you're in your parents' basement. It's the feeling that you can recreate in every environment that makes you magnetic to the result. You've already had that feeling for so long. Let me tell you, I used to think about, and everybody talks about this, I used to think about what I wanted my first store to look like. Little details, the drawers and the color scheme and stuff. And I remember I showed someone and I said, look at the date on this picture. This is what I put on my phone for my first store. And look at the store. It's the same thing. This is how it works. So right now that you're being persecuted, you're being beat down upon, all you're manifesting, all you're envisioning is this is going to happen and that is going to happen and that is going to happen, because you're putting the negativity into the air. So this is what you're attracting. So all I'm doing is I'm planting you your first seed of what does it feel like to not be gang stalked, because you cannot envision it for yourself from where you're at. So I have to do it for you. Other people might have to do it for you. Movies might have to do it for you. Magazines, other things might have to do it for you, might jog that for you. Especially sometimes you've never had the feeling. So you have to have the feeling vicariously through someone else. How did I get into the feeling of having nice houses? By just go to open houses and going to look at people's houses. Going to builders to look at places and thinking, this is what I want. This is what I would do. From $0 in my pocket to like, I wouldn't put my kitchen there. I wouldn't do that. I would do it this way. And getting ideas from their decorators, what their people are doing. So you have to travel to that feeling. So that's why I talk about it often, the feeling of being outside, the exhilaration, and being that the sun is hot outside, it is even better. But even in the winter, standing there in the cold on a sidewalk, you'll stop and you'll turn around and there'll be no one behind you. There's no one standing anywhere. There's no one sitting anywhere. It's just you on the street. And when you talk to people, they don't even want to talk to you. When you look at people, they don't even react. They don't care. Like, these are clearly not gang stalkers. And you're like, whoa, I might actually be out here by myself. I might actually not have anyone out here. And you might want to test it. You will. You're going to test it. You're going to be like, because you're not going to really want to get your hopes up. That's really what it is. You don't want to get your hopes up that like they're really not following you, but they're really not following you. Because they can't find you. Not because they don't want to, because they can't find you. And you're going to keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. And then you're going to get to a point where it's like, even if they did find you, it's like, who cares? Because you know and they know that they couldn't find you for a couple of hours, that you were completely gone. They couldn't find your energy. They couldn't trace you. And so now when they do find you, it's like, and what can they do? They're gonna come and walk in behind you slowly and do this and do that. It's like, okay, and then what? So just keep hanging on to that feeling. Keep hanging on to the seeds of the feelings that you have, and you're gonna plant seeds that are not just about not being gang stalked, not being followed. You're gonna plant seeds that are about, how would I call it? What kind of life you want to live after. What do you want to look like? What do you want to own? Where do you want to live? How do you want to work? What kind of friends you want? What kind of family you want? You're going to keep planting these seeds over and over and keep manifesting, keep clinging to the feelings. And sometimes you have to do it in people's face. Like, what are they going to do? How are they going to stop it just because they see it? Oh, I'm going to manifest against it. Okay. They've been doing these things up until now anyway. So it is what it is. Just move forward with your situation and practice planting energetic seeds. I don't know if the next phase of what I'm saying can even be in this live, because this is a whole other This is a whole other thing that I have here to talk about. So I'm just gonna finish what I'm gonna talk about as far as insecurities and triggers. You're gonna have distractions, and they're gonna come in many forms. These people are gonna try to get people to date you, and it's been orchestrated. These are not people you want to date. These are people that came in on an agenda. You're gonna have people start conflicts with you that are building out of the thin air. Everything you do is wrong. You can't do right. Everything you do is wrong. There's going to be an issue with everything. You just got to move past it, step over it. TIs should not be dating. Sad to say, TIs cannot date. It just is what it is. Let it be what it is. These people are going to construct emergencies around you, things that are meant to quickly take your attention, pull you in different directions. Deal with it, come to terms with it. It is what it is. Every time that you have to do something, somebody is going to project something your way, whether it's like for me, I have to meditate. Here comes sleepiness. Here comes irritability. Here comes bad memories. Here comes triggers. Here comes all kinds of things. You got to learn to look at it and step over it. And it is a muscle you have to train. I'm not going to say it's very difficult. It starts off as being difficult, and then it's second nature. You got to train yourself, train your will to step over things that people are bringing as a problem that wasn't a problem 5 seconds ago. Oh my God, you have this bill. Oh my God, this is due. Oh my God, this person's on the phone. And it's like, it's not an emergency, and you have to remember that. A lot of illusions, like things aren't working, or you're gonna feel to compare yourself to other people doing the same thing. How's it working for them? How comes they're getting so many views and I'm not? How comes this is happening? And that? Your process is on time. You just have to follow your process, follow your bliss, follow your happiness, and do what it is that you're supposed to do, and not really worry about how comes it's not working for me? How comes? Don't worry about that. You just got to keep moving. You have to control your reactions to things, because if you look at how important vibration is, then you're going to see how important your reactions are, especially when they're uncontrolled. If your reactions are deliberate and you're doing something on purpose and you're in control of the process, it looks a lot different than when you're triggered and you have a reaction. So you really need to control your reactions. You need to be very strict about what vibration you're going to be in, and you need to lock yourself in that vibration. So if you're currently in a vibration of hope, then you need to lock yourself down in that vibration, and nothing moves you out of it, and you need to cling to that feeling and keep going back to it as you're getting sucked away. If you're in a vibration of determination, if you're in a vibration of creation, that's where you stay. You don't come out of that vibration. You don't, oh, I don't even feel like doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, and the feeling will come. Oh, I feel nervous. Oh, I feel uncomfortable. Keep doing it until the feeling comes. This is how you have to work with your vibration. You have to make sure that you lock yourself in place of what it is that you need, what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You have to look at yourself in that you are born with a purpose, and the universe has groomed you from day one along the path for the places that you're supposed to be and the things that you're supposed to endure, and you move around in the world in that way. You can't look at things as drawbacks. You have to look at things as either things that maybe in the beginning you're looking at it as something you endure, in the middle you're looking to master it, and at the end you're looking at something that you've accomplished or that is helping you on your path. Even if it's bad, even if they're bad people, you have to look at everything as assistance, or it's supposed to be there, or whatever the case is. That's how you're supposed to look at the world and move on and move from it. Hardships are planted on your path early. It's being orchestrated by the powers that be, by your spiritual help. because in mastering those hardships, they know that you get better. They know that you are a person who is going to, it's going to be very easy for you to navigate life. So you have to keep moving regardless of what you see, creating, growing, learning, keep applying for jobs, you know, keep applying for things that you need, keep applying yourself, keep doing the things that you have to do. Enjoy your day, enjoy your life, do your best. Get out there this summer. Don't sit in the house. Sit outside step by step. Do the things that you're supposed to do. It will come eventually. The injustices that you face, the grievances, the indignities, these are minor compared to what you're going. They are minor sacrifices for major gains. It is the way the universe works is there needs to be a sacrifice for everything that you get. So all of these little things, they're minor. And I know they don't feel minor. It feels like an indignity, it feels like an injustice, but it's minor compared to what you're going to get out of it. I'm going to leave the second half of this. Because I think that's a totally new vibe, live that I'm going to make. The card that I pulled for the mood of this live, which I should have read earlier, but it says, when you reach the end of what you should know, you will be at the beginning of what you should sense. So take that for what that is. I think I predominantly talked about triggers, finding feelings, controlling your vibrations. So perhaps when you get to the point where you've controlled all of these triggers and all of these things have happened for you, maybe you get to the point where you're feeling your way through the world. You've mastered your six senses. Maybe we have seven. You've mastered all of that, and now you're at the point where you're sensing your way around, perhaps, probably, more than likely. The spirit card of the day says, when there are questions you need assistance with, go inward. Sit with yourself. Meditate on the question. Ask for our help also. Then trust your intuition, as most often the answer and guidance will be delivered to you intuitively. We are with you always. You're gonna definitely come across a lot of moments where you are at a standstill, where you feel like you have no idea what the answer is. It's in those moments that you build your how. You ask yourself, how am I going to do that? And you build your how by asking for spiritual guidance, by asking to be pointed in the right direction, trusting your gut and your intuition. I always say your intuition is the voice of God. It's very loud. It's built in. Somebody might get in the way of your gift, your spiritual gift. Say if you're psychic, or if you can, channel or hear voices or whatever. Someone might be able to get in the way of that. But your intuition is your intuition, okay? They do try to block intuition, but your intuition is your intuition. You gotta trust it. So the stone that I got today, the crystal of the day, is Sodalite, and it's the crystal of mental integration. It's not even the first time that I've gotten this crystal either, but I like rereading crystals. This is a stone of combining logic with intuition. So healing a disordered mind, restoring normal functioning of intuitive perception, and encouraging rational thought. Sodalite facilitates reception and integration of new information. It releases the inhibitory control mechanisms such as guilt, shame, and fear that are holding you back from being who you truly are, enhancing self-esteem, self-acceptance, and self-trust. Uniting logic with intuition, Sodalite opens up spiritual inner sight, bringing information from the higher mind to the physical level. Sodalite relieves the symptoms of dyslexia and dyspraxia. Bringing emotional balance, it calms panic attacks. The stone creates harmony in group work. On the body, it assists with the lymphatic, immune, and digestive systems, metabolism, internal organs, and throat. And in the spirit, it stimulates the third eye and deepens the meditative states. And usually it is blue, and I have sodalite, and this is what this crystal looks like right here. It looks like a lapis lazuli, but a lapis looks a little bit different than a sodalite when you put them together. So usually the crystals that have to do with clairvoyance are usually like blue or purple. Really what sodalite is very good for, I would say if I had to kind of sum it up, it's a crystal that helps you heal your mind from psychic attacks and be able to use your mind properly once more. That's the best way for me to put it. Sodalite is the crystal that helps you reintegrate. It's almost like it heals the psychic body. It restores, it like unblocks you in places, and it restores kind of, because as a TI, it's like they create so many illusions and you get to a point where you're almost untrusting of your mind and of yourself. And Sodalite kind of brings you back. It pulls you back to a place where you can reunite yourself with trusting that your intuition, but also using your common sense as well so that you can make good decisions. So Sodalite is the crystal of the day. That is all I have to say for today's live. Thank you guys for joining, hanging in there, and I hope it brings you insight. Please like the channel, share, subscribe if you're new here. Share it with other people. Check out all the playlists. The playlists are very specific. They have to do with very specific things. Very specific things that you're dealing with. And definitely, you know, give it some engagement, because we have people being pulled out of our life out of desperation for people that don't like the messages that are going out. Have yourself a lovely day, and remember, God loves you.